Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for our Black History Month series. I am Chanel Sitberry, Executive Director of K-12 Curriculum and Instruction, and we are so excited to have you with us this afternoon. I have with me some fabulous members of my team, Ms. Kelly Stevens, who is the History and Civic Engagement Specialist for Durham, as well as Ms. Melissa Perez, who is our Cultural and Linguistic Development Specialist. I'm going to turn it over to Melissa, who's going to talk you through some of our curriculum resources and get us started with our event today.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're so glad you all took some time out of your day to join us for this amazing Black History Month event with Durham Public Schools. I would like to share with you a little bit of information about where our series originated. So this year, each month, we have a team called DPS Celebrates. This is a big team put together in Durham Public Schools from all different departments and backgrounds to come together to sort of curate a DPS celebration so that we can celebrate different aspects of culture, of holidays, of all sorts of things district-wide to streamline that for all of our schools. So what we've done is we have created a website, celebrate.dpsnc.net, and each month you can visit that website for a new page related to the celebrations we have in Durham Public Schools for that particular month. On our website, you'll be able to find a monthly calendar of events and celebrations. You'll be able to find the website in English and in Spanish. We do have lots of resources that we have curated for each of the celebrations that can be used by teachers in their lessons with students, by students at home, or by parents and the community at large. These celebrations are responsive to our DPS population, and they are to highlight awareness across our district and our Durham community. We also work in conjunction with student services in the participation of highlighting and celebrating the character trait of the month. As you can tell from our February flyer, we have our spotlight on integrity for this month. Also in February, we are highlighting Black History Month, National Freedom Day, Black Lives Matter at School Month, as well as National School Counseling Week. You can visit our website. Again, that is celebrate.dpsnc.net for those resources and educational links. We also have an e-library to help students increase their literacy skills while learning about our DPS celebrations. And for our teachers and students, we've also created some really neat Zoom backgrounds. Each month they differ to highlight our celebrations. You can see this is one of our Zoom backgrounds for the month of February, highlighting our Black History Month that Kelly, my colleague, has as well. And for our teachers, we have spent the time, because we know how much a lot of them like to use Bitmoji classrooms, but they take a lot of time to build. So we build those for you each month to highlight our celebrations. So teachers can get those Bitmoji classrooms, put their Bitmoji avatar in, and they're ready to go. At this time, I would like to turn it back over to Chanel.
Thank you, Melissa. So Black History Month is February, and it goes without saying, but we want to make sure we have a common understanding. So Black History Month is an annual celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time for recognizing their central role in U.S. history. Also known as African American History Month, the event grew out of Negro History Week, the brainchild of noted historian Carter G. Woodson and other prominent African Americans. Since 1976, every U.S. president has officially designated the month of February as Black History Month, and other countries around the world, including Canada and the United Kingdom, also devote a month to celebrating Black history. Next slide, please. In DPS, we want to go beyond the 28 days of Black History Month. Since we are a school district where our students are predominantly Black and Brown, we want to make sure that we acknowledge the contributions of all individuals, all cultures, all students, but also want to lift up the Black brilliance that we have right here in Durham Public Schools. So in DPS, you will hear see the hashtag DPS Beyond 28. And that simply means we will continue to uplift Black voices. We will continue to uplift Black stories. We will continue to uplift Black leadership and brilliance in our community and also in our nation, in our world. This has historically been a small marginalized population where you do not hear these stories. You do not know about all of the Black inventors. You do not know about the local people that make big contributions to our community. And we want to make sure that Black history is not just celebrated in 28 days in February. We are going to continue to provide you with an opportunity to learn, grow, and explore beyond February, going into March and going into April as well. One of our highlights today is going to be around Black authors. And each week in our series, we will make sure that we highlight some good things that you can know and also local people who contribute to teaching and learning and supporting students. The CCBC, or the Cooperative Children's Book Center at the University of Wisconsin, notes in 2019 that although 29% of books are about African Americans, only 9% or so is written and authored and illustrated by Black authors and illustrators. So we want to continue to lift up these voices and highlight a special guest for you today, who is an author and also a Durham Public Schools alum. So I'm going to turn it over to Kelly Stevens to talk to us and share our guest with us today.
And today we have a very special guest. She is an alumni of Durham Public Schools. When she was in elementary, she was at Pearsontown Year-Round Elementary School. Then she went on to Rogers Her Year-Round Elementary School and graduated from Hillside High School. So let me introduce Jasmine Stewart.
Hello.
Hi, Jasmine, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Of course, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Well, I'm excited for you. And for those of you that don't know Jasmine, as I said, Jasmine is an alumni of Durham Public Schools, but Jasmine comes from kind of a lineage of educators because her mom is an educator. Do you have anyone else in your family that's an educator, Jasmine?
My sister just graduated from NC State for English. So my sister's going to be an English teacher. I'm super
Excellent.
excited.
Excellent.
Definitely did her thing with the educators in the family.
Definitely. Well, that's amazing. And I love everything that you are doing to give back to the community by becoming an educator. So Jasmine, let's talk a little bit about why you're here today, because yes, you're a Durham Public Schools alumni, but we are going to talk about the upcoming launch of your brand new book. You are now a children's book author. You're adding this to your resume. You're an elementary teacher, a previous student, but now you're a children's book author. Your children's book is coming out pretty soon, and it's called Rachel's Birthday Surprise. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about what motivated you or inspired you to write this book?
Absolutely. At my internship in ECU, I came across a student, and he was an African-American student, and he didn't have the resources and tools that he needed in school to feel as though he belonged. So I would do things like get up early and go and get him some snacks, put him in his desk, clothes, and things like that. And at the end, he told me, you know, I don't think I would have made it without all of your help, and I appreciate you. And it made me realize that I too had some heavy influences like that in my life. In the DPS system, my teachers were awesome and caring and loving and willing to go the extra mile for their kiddos. And that's definitely what inspired this book.
Excellent. And one of the inspirations for your book is going to be a guest speaker with us, a featured presenter as well. And she was one of your former teachers at Hillside. You want to talk a little bit about her?
Yes. Dr. Bullock actually is a huge character in this book. She was definitely that teacher for me, guided me, told me when I was wrong, told me how to fix it. Definitely a mother figure. And I had the pleasure of having her every year at Hillside. So by the end, I just knew she was definitely someone that I was going to remember forever. And the way she inspired me to teach others, it's phenomenal. So.
And this is Dr. Rhonda Bullock that you're referring to, correct?
Yes, Dr. Bullock. I changed, the Mrs. to Miss, but yes, it's still Dr. Bullock.
Excellent, excellent. I'm so glad to hear that. And a friend of yours was the illustrator for the book. Did you know he had this skill set? I mean, how did you connect so that you could add all this beautiful artwork to your book? I mean, well, I know you didn't add it, but I mean, how did you know Demarcus had this skill?
Demarcus and I were actually together in IB with Dr. Bullock. So we are both her babies. And I told him one day, I called him up. I said, hey, I have this idea. I know what I want it to look like, but I can't draw. And so he said, okay, well, just tell me, what kind of little girl are we looking for? And I said, I want someone to be able to look at the book and say, hey, she looks like me. And he said, I got it. And he was able to draw something up for me right then.
Beautiful. And I do remember a little girl in Pearson Town in Rogers Herd that looked just like the cartoon character in your book. I believe I remember your hair like that often, because I used to comment that I loved when your hair was like that, because it always reminded me of like the Disney ears that I always wear for different things. I love it. I love it. So what's next? Now that you've got this book launched, what's next in your life? What other things are you dreaming of?
I don't want to spill the secret, but me and Demarcus were so overwhelmed by the feedback and the encouraging words that we're actually back at the drawing board for a sequel. Maybe Rachel goes to the beach, Rachel learns Spanish, Rachel takes a trip. So we're working on that, and I'm actually in the process of building proposals for ELL and African American based schools, so that there are more books like this included in their literature. So
I love it. I love that you have taken what you have learned in Durham Public Schools, what you've expanded on when you've gone on to college, and you've used it to create something where children, just like you when you were yet little, they have something where they see themselves in the book that they're reading. I absolutely love that. And I want to go to the next slide here, if it'll let me. I want to let everybody know where they can purchase this book. So I did a little bit of digging, and I saw that you can purchase it on Amazon. Barnes & Noble has it available. Target will have it available as well. Right now it's on pre-order. And bookbaby.com/bookshop. And this is available for purchase beginning February 9th. So this is hot off the presses right here in the middle of a pandemic. We have got a really positive thing happening in our community. So if this is a book that you want to purchase, I encourage you to visit one of these stores, purchase it maybe when things, are safe once again. Maybe we can get some kind of in-person event where we could get Jasmine maybe autograph some of these with Demarcus for our community.
That's our plan. We're going to be dropping some off once they're available to some of our foster homes and care centers around Durham. So be on the lookout for that.
Next week, we have your illustrator joining us, Demarcus Boone. He was not only an illustrator in this book, but he also has a mural in downtown Durham. So make sure you join us next week to meet Demarcus. Jasmine, I'd also like to encourage you that I want you to visit our YouTube live feed, because you have a whole lot of fans that maybe you didn't realize you had, giving you all kinds of positive compliments today during this live session. So make sure that you go visit those. And for those of you out there, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I love each and every one of you. Thank you again, DPS, for this opportunity. I'm truly grateful.
Now we'd like to share with you some exciting news about a digital viewing event that we have coming up here in Durham Public Schools. This is related to our DPS Beyond 28 hashtag, and we will be having a digital viewing event for the movie The Best of Enemies. This digital viewing event is going to be February the 26th through Sunday, February the 28th. So you have 3 days for students in grades 6 through 12 for a viewing opportunity for this movie. Of course, in grades 6 through 8, we do have to have parent guardian consent, but this particular film will be related to learning about African American history, and it extended beyond the 28 days of February. And you will learn about a story between two unlikely friends, or who end up being friends, but were enemies in the beginning because one of them, P.C. Ellis, was a member of the Ku Klux Klan, and how that story unfolds, and he actually is able to make friends with an activist, an African-American activist. And it's just an excellent story. And we will have that opportunity again, February 26th through 28th for our students. At this time, I would like to turn it back over to Chanel Sidbury.
Melissa and Jasmine, if you will rejoin us again, thank you, thank you, thank you. What an amazing story. What an amazing story from a teacher's perspective, from a child's perspective. There's so many great themes there. When you think about our standards, there's so many great themes there. The power of reading, the power of relationships, encouragement, the power and influence of an educator. So there's so many things there. And we want to engage with you. We want to encourage you. And Jasmine, you don't know this, but we are going to encourage staff and students, Durham Public Schools staff and students. If you use our hashtag, which is hashtag DPS Beyond 28, and you add any of the social media handles that you see on this screen, I'm going to give away 10 copies of Jasmine's book. So if you use our DPS hashtag, DPS Beyond 28, the first 10 people that respond to say that you would like a copy of Jasmine's book, then you will get a copy, and we will confirm that with you today. So if you would like a copy of Rachel's birthday surprise, use the hashtag DPS Beyond 28. We're going to give away 10 copies of this book via social media. So please do engage with us. We thank you again, Jasmine. You can use the DPS Twitter handle. It is at Durham Public Schools. It's there on your screen. Or you can also at me at DPS_K12C_I, or any of the handles here. We will repost, we will respond to you and let you know if you are a winner. We want to, again, uplift, as I mentioned earlier, 29%, only 29% of books about Africans or African Americans are written by African Americans or illustrated by African Americans. So in this celebration, we want to make sure we uplift our Black authors. We want to uplift our Black illustrators. You too, students, can also be in these shoes. You too can write a book. You too can be an illustrator if that is something you aspire to be. And in DPS, we believe that you can be anything that you want to be. You put your mind to it. So we thank you for joining us. Again, join us next week, same time, same place. We will have Demarcus Boone on with us, and we'll have more great conversations about why DPS is learning about Black history, not just in February, but beyond 28. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great rest of the day.